I'm 32F, married to my husband Mark, 34M, for 7 years, and we have 2 energetic kids, a 5-year-old daughter who's always drawing on every surface she can find, and a 3-year-old son who turns mealtimes into food-flinging adventures. I work full-time as a marketing coordinator at a busy firm, juggling client meetings, tight deadlines, and endless emails that often spill into evenings, all while handling the bulk of our home life. My typical day starts at 6 a.m. with getting the kids dressed and fed, packing lunches, dropping them at daycare and preschool, then rushing to the office for 8+ hours of high-pressure work, only to come home to cook dinner, tackle laundry mountains, scrub sticky floors, and manage bedtime stories and baths. It's exhausting, but I do it because our family needs the stability my job provides, especially with rising costs for everything from groceries to kid activities. Mark, on the other hand, has a flexible remote job in IT support, logging in from our home office around 9 a.m. and wrapping up by 4 p.m. most days, with plenty of downtime for coffee breaks and scrolling on his phone. Despite that, he barely contributes at home. He'll plop on the couch after work, binge-watching shows while the kids run wild, and complain that my job makes me too absent, leaving the house in disarray. Specific examples pile up. Last month, I asked him to unload the dishwasher, and he said he was too tired from a rough day of answering emails. The week before, he forgot to pick up groceries I texted him about, claiming he didn't see the message amid his busy schedule. The breaking point came last week after a particularly grueling day at work. I walked in to find toys everywhere, no dinner started, and Mark lounging with his feet up. When I asked him to help chop veggies, he refused outright, saying it's my role since I chose such a demanding career, and he handles the important stuff like paying bills online once a month. Frustrated beyond words and tired of endless talks that go nowhere, I decided to teach him a lesson in the most direct way possible. For 3 straight days, I pretended to go to work, left the house at my usual 7 a.m., worked at a quiet coffee shop down the street with my laptop and headphones, sipping lattes while catching up on personal reading, and came home late around 8 p.m., claiming urgent overtime projects. Meanwhile, he had to handle everything solo, waking the kids, breakfast battles, drop-offs, pickups, after-school snacks, homework help, dinner prep, bath time tantrums, and bedtime negotiations. By day 2, frantic texts started rolling in about minor disasters, like our daughter spilling an entire jug of juice on the carpet during his attempt at a quick breakfast or him forgetting the preschool snack bag, leading to a call from the teacher. I stayed firm, responding with short messages like, "Handle it, I'm swamped," to mimic how he brushes me off. On day 3, he looked utterly exhausted when I got home, the kitchen resembling a war zone with burnt pasta glued to multiple pans, toys scattered like confetti after party, and the kids hyped up on sugar from his desperate bribe of extra cookies to keep them quiet during a work call. He admitted right away that it was overwhelming and he had no idea how I managed it all, but now I'm wondering if my sneaky approach was too manipulative or if it finally drove the point home. My sister laughs whenever I recount the texts, saying he needed that reality check and it's about time he stepped up, but Mark thinks I was dishonest and should have just talked it out again. Am I in the wrong for pretending to go to work for 3 days to teach my useless husband a lesson after he complained about my job and refused to help at home? Or should I have found a less dramatic way? Update 1. After sharing how Mark complained about my job and refused to help at home, dismissing my repeated requests for support while lounging comfortably after his easy remote shifts, like ignoring the overflowing laundry or skipping kid pickups, I faked going to work for 3 days, leaving him to juggle the full household chaos solo, which unfolded in a series of increasingly comical and chaotic mishaps that built suspense with each frantic text he sent. Your suggestions to communicate openly after the experiment rang true, but confronting him about it turned into an emotional roller coaster that uncovered deeper issues, blending heartfelt admissions with surprising vulnerability. I revealed the truth that evening after day 3, sitting him down in our still messy living room amid the explosion of toys, sticky juice stains on the rug, and a faint burnt smell lingering from his dinner attempts. I explained calmly that I wasn't really at work those days, but had been hiding out at a coffee shop to show him firsthand what I deal with daily, pointing out specifics like how he let the laundry pile up to the point where the kids had no clean socks for school, or how bedtime routines stretched 2 hours late each night because he couldn't get them settled without my usual storytime tricks. He broke down almost immediately, admitting the chaos was eye-opening and that he'd severely underestimated my load, describing how overwhelmed he felt just trying to multitask breakfast while answering work emails, only for our son to knock over his cereal bowl in the process, creating a milky flood across the kitchen floor that took an hour to clean. It caught me off guard when he opened up further, sharing that he often feels paralyzed by simple tasks, like his mind races with 1,000 thoughts and he can't focus enough to even start something as basic as sorting the kids' clothes, leading to him freezing up and defaulting to his phone as a distraction. I reflected internally on long-standing patterns I noticed but brushed off, like his half-finished projects around the house, such as the backyard garden he started with enthusiasm but abandoned after a week, leaving weeds to take over, or how he'd forget paying bills despite my gentle reminders, causing late fees that added to our stress. We talked for hours into the night. He apologized sincerely for his complaints, saying he didn't realize how his inaction piled onto my exhaustion and made me feel undervalued. And I expressed my deep frustration at carrying everything alone, admitting how close I'd come to resenting our marriage because of it. Friends weighed in when I vented anonymously in a group chat. Some said it was a clever and necessary wake-up call with comedic gold in his failed attempts, like the time he tried microwaving frozen veggies for a healthy side and ended up with a soggy, unappetizing mush that the kids dramatically refused to eat, staging a mini protest by hiding under the table. Others cautioned that while entertaining, it might erode trust if not followed by real change. Now Mark's suggesting we try dividing chores more fairly, like him taking full responsibility for evenings twice a week. But I'm sensing there's more to his struggles than just laziness, perhaps something underlying that's been simmering for years. Did this lesson finally stick and open the door to better teamwork? Or did it just scratch the surface of bigger, unspoken problems that could unravel us if ignored? Update 2. Tying back to how Mark downplayed my job and avoided home help, brushing off my pleas for even basic support while relaxing post-work, such as scrolling endlessly instead of helping with the kids' chaotic after-school routines, I staged the 3-day fake work absence, forcing him to manage the household solo amid entertaining disasters that escalated daily, like the suspenseful buildup of his texts detailing everything from our daughter's crayon masterpiece on the living room walls. During his quick conference call to our son deciding nap time was the perfect moment for a solo adventure climbing the pantry shelves, resulting in a cascade of canned goods. The post-experiment talk, where he confessed feeling overwhelmed and unfocused on tasks, led us to seek professional help, revealing a surprising twist that flipped my perspective entirely and added layers of empathy to our dynamic. We booked a couples therapy session last week, both of us nervous but hopeful as we sat in the cozy office, surrounded by calming plants and soft lighting, ready to unpack the mess. The therapist listened patiently as I described the experiment's highs and lows, the ironic humor in Mark's overconfident start on day 1, texting me triumphantly about handling breakfast smoothly, only for day 2 to devolve into panic when he realized he'd forgotten the preschool's special show and tell item, leading to a last-minute scramble with a random toy from the car that didn't quite fit the theme. Mark shared his side openly, explaining how the 3 days felt like a whirlwind where simple decisions, like choosing what to pack for lunches, spiraled into hours of indecision because his brain jumped from one thought to another without landing. The therapist suggested individual evaluations after hearing about these patterns of task paralysis and racing thoughts, and follow-up tests confirmed he has undiagnosed ADHD, a condition that explained so much about why he'd zone out during chores or start 10 things without finishing one, like the half-assembled shelf in the garage gathering dust for months, or his habit of intending to help with dinner, but getting sidetracked by a work email that led to nothing getting done. The revelation hit me like a wave of relief, mixed with guilt. I reflected deeply on times I'd internally labeled him as lazy or unreliable, not realizing it was a real neurological condition making everyday stuff an uphill battle, compounded by his childhood where similar issues went unnoticed, and he learned to mask them through structured jobs like his IT role. Mark expressed gratitude for the diagnosis, saying it finally gave a name to his struggles and opened doors to strategies like breaking tasks into smaller steps, which he'd already started testing at home. We divided responsibilities more evenly right away, turning potential arguments into collaborative efforts with some lighthearted laughs, like when his first solo grocery run resulted in buying 5 different kinds of cereal in a moment of decision overload but forgetting the milk entirely, leading to a funny improvised breakfast the next morning. Friends cheered the progress when I shared updates, some sharing their own stories of similar hidden struggles in relationships, adding a sense of community support and normalizing what we've been through. It's truly eye-opening, sparking hope that this could be the key to fixing our imbalances. But I know it's just the start of a longer road with ongoing adjustments and patience. Update 3. Here's the wrap-up after Mark's complaints about my job and refusal to pitch in at home, ignoring my exhaustion while chilling after his shifts, often leaving me to solo parent through the kids' energetic whirlwinds. I pulled off the sneaky 3-day pretend work stunt that left him drowning in a sea of kid meltdowns and kitchen fails, like the epic burnt toast incident that set off the smoke alarm twice in one morning, filling the house with a hazy reminder of his culinary overambition. The honest talk revealing his focus issues, followed by therapy diagnosing his ADHD and providing tools for management, set us on a path of real change over the past month, transforming our home from a battleground of resentment into a more balanced haven. Mark dove into treatment with genuine enthusiasm, starting meds that sharpened his concentration almost immediately, using apps for daily reminders and timers to tackle chores without the old overwhelm, and attending weekly check-ins where we adjust our shared chore chart together, making things run smoother than ever before. He's fully taken over school runs and meal prep 3 nights a week, turning what used to be disasters into reliable wins, like surprising me with a simple but kid-approved stir-fry that didn't involve any accidental fires or forgotten ingredients, complete with the little ones helping set the table as part of his new routine. I feel so much lighter now, with actual time for self-care like peaceful evening walks or reading a book without interruption. And we've added fun family rituals to keep the momentum going, such as weekend game nights where we all laugh over board games, strengthening our bond in ways that feel natural and joyful. Reflecting on the irony of it all, I chuckle inside at how my lesson, intended as a sharp wake-up call, backfired into a moment of empathy and growth. But in the absolute best way, friends tease us about it now during casual hangouts, calling it our quirky turning point, and sharing their own lighthearted stories of relationship experiments gone right, which has brought us closer to our social circle too. It's good overall. Our marriage feels balanced, stronger, and more connected than it has in years, with open talks preventing old resentments from creeping back and the kids thriving in the calmer, more cooperative home environment we've created. The experiment taught us both valuable lessons about understanding and teamwork, ultimately transforming frustration into a deeper partnership and leaving us happier together, ready to face whatever family adventures come next.